Today is June 9th, 2021, and we're going to do a short tour of the garden. Up here we have wires for a trellis set up for green beans. We did it last year, it turned out really well. It grew about 10 feet up to here from the bottom of the pool there, and then another 10 feet over. We got a ton of green beans. So, we set this up with some grape vines as rope for the trellis to climb, or for the green beans to climb, and then some cable here. And then we set one up on the far end to do the same thing. We'll just get more green beans this year. Over here you can see the green beans. They got their start already, looking nice and healthy along this line here. Here's some watermelon. 1, 2, 3. I think there's a fourth over there. And we got them in this heavy section of mulch with all the leaves here. This big row here is potatoes, and this row over here is also potatoes. These are smaller, we think, because the heavy mulch over here, we think just
held the moisture,
and these ones, they're just way bigger than these ones over here. In between, we've got some tomato plants in between the potatoes, and so the potatoes finish up, and then the tomatoes will grow up above them, and that'll be good.
We'll harvest the potatoes, and the tomatoes will then take over, as well as watermelon. And, it's June 9th, and those potatoes were wintered over, so they got a really good start here in Michigan. And then there's potatoes. Point out the potatoes down in the
Yeah, the potatoes, these are volunteer potatoes, and they're pretty much everywhere. This is an eggplant here, and we've got 3 or 4 of those. One here, this is another one here,
and so again,
then another one over here.
When the potatoes are done, the eggplant will take over that growing space, along with these squash plants down near the bottom.
Yep.
And then here's a better, closer view of the trellis over here. We're going to get some green beans, or actually they're an Italian pole bean. They're a broad Italian pole bean, but we eat them for green beans. But if they get let go, then we can plant them. Then we can eat them as a hard bean as well. This is one that made it through the winter. Just that bean there.
That's our grape plant over there.
Seedless grape. It's full of grapes.
Full of grapes.
Here's a that might be 10 years old. This is maybe a 3-year-old seedless Concord grape here. Here's a yellow. That's a caria plant. That's all full of flowers. And then this is a tomato plant. I'll let you explain.
The tomato plant we got from a small farmer not too far away, and we did the same thing last year about the same time, and he had just these huge cherry tomato plants, and so last year it produced for about 3 months, and we got tons of cherry tomatoes.
That basket was filled about 6 times.
Yeah, off of one plant. So.
We paid $7 last year, and it was $8 this year. And the tomato plant came in a small container like that on the right. So we had to get a lot of soil and a big pot, and it produced that much. If you don't use a bigger pot, you might be able to get by with some sort of hydroponic feed system, but that's how it worked for us. This is yellow groove bamboo that's grown in Michigan. That's about how the size of it. Over there in those pots over there, those are yellow groove bamboo as well. They're very invasive. You need 60 mil plastic to contain it, and it has to go down maybe 18 to 24 inches, or else it'll get away from you. So be careful. This is the that Chinese herb, goju berry. It grows like a weed. It has a nice, pretty purple flower.
berries down at the bottom.
Yeah,
I think those are from last year.
there's some. They're just all over. Here's a blueberry right next to it.
Check out the cherries. They're all ripe and ready. We've been eating them the past few days. I mean, it looks like they're all ripe at the same time and ready to go. I'm probably gonna need to harvest them again, at least another batch before they get eaten up by the birds and whatnot. Birds, raccoons,
Yeah.
squirrels.
Yep. Okay. And here's sweet corn. We're trying sweet corn this year, and we've moved the strawberries to along the fence, pulled them out of this other area. These were planted like the last week in May, because we had like 5 days of frost that last week. These were planted on Sunday, and today's Wednesday, and that corn's already coming up. That's the first of maybe 2 little sprouts. So because it's been hot and humid, the corn's really coming up quickly. Here's zucchini plants that are going to spread out. They'll take up all this empty space. These are the kale and collards that wintered over. We had a lot of greens to cook. We don't generally eat them in the summer, but they're still tender now because it's early June. But come July, we'll just let them live on until maybe October or November, when we can harvest them again. Here's a peach tree. I planted it from seed around 2001, so it's already well past its 15-year lifespan. This was loaded with peaches, even though we had heavy frosts, and for some reason it came down Sunday, and it's Wednesday, and the leaves haven't died. So that little bit of, just that very little bit of bark there must be maintaining that whole branch. And again, it's gives you an idea of how much weight goes onto these trees, and they continue to grow and grow until they just break, and then they have to be replaced. This was a Red Haven seedling, and it kept true to seed. These are some new hops plants. We planted a couple different varieties. This is a Newport, two Newport. These flowers, they're weeds, but we like them. We let them grow. They're campions, nice and colorful. Here's some more hops plants. This one's going to end up going up here eventually. This is a nugget.
Okay. And we got some blackberry plants all throughout this area. There's blackberries in here, and this is some of them going through the fence here. So they produce every year. And, over here we've got our side garden, which is the last section. And you guys got the hops strung up here with bamboo. I think he called it a mast. It's like a sail, kind of. Tied the twine to that top piece and then raised it up there. And that's the hops going along there. And last year was our first year with hops, but they produced well.
This is
against the norm.
This is June 9th, and this is June 9th in Michigan, and they're already loaded with the starts to these flowers. So this is going to be a very bumper crop and early. Here's some brassicas, some broccoli, Brussels sprouts.
What's the one right in front of you? It's Brussels sprouts, right?
Yeah, Brussels sprouts, red cabbage, and broccoli.
Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, yeah. This is Brussels sprouts down here, and then there's the red cabbage, and then the next one is broccoli.
And then that last one to your left, that's tomatoes?
Potatoes.
Oh,
these are yeah, these potatoes, we planted potatoes here, and they just sprouted all over the place. Also, when we thinned our hops, there were just tons of runners that came off of them, so we're going to have maybe 10 10 plants from just that, probably just from that one vine, which is a Chinook, and it really produced last year, and it's going to produce like bumper crop this year. Here's honeysuckle. It's very fragrant. Too bad you can't smell the camera. And then here's a Magnum hops. This was actually from 1 year ago. We haven't yet to. We need to string this one up because it's ready to go. And then this is a 5-in-1 apple tree. It's grown tremendously, even though I pruned a third of it this spring. It's just growing like a weed. Anything else, Mike? Close it. Turn it.
Apples. There's some apples on here already.
Yeah.
How long do you think until they're good to go?
Well, this is a 5-in-1 apple tree, so one of the apples will be ready. The summer apple will be ready in July, and then there'll be other. Then there's a Macintosh that will be ready in October, in September. But one will be ready in July.
All right.
Okay.